Well, as most of you probably already know, that I have been long a proponent of decentralized green energy production systems. And of course, fossil fuel doesn't die easy, and I have taken a real beating, and there is some logic to some of the fact that anything we do on this planet involves extraction. Okay, so you can rationalize and say that if we move away from oil, that we're still going to have to use solar or wind. Anyway, this is extracting materials, the lithium batteries, it's mining, the silicon that we use in the solar collectors, it's mining. But things can create toxic landfill problems in the long run as they wear out, and blah, 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 blah. So, to that, the conversion away from burning fossil fuels to not burning cleaner energy sources, it's having its challenges because the oil industry in particular doesn't like the idea. Now, I have for a long time proposed that this is the direction that we had to go. This has to happen. And so I was pleased when I saw it starting to happen. Not everybody's happy with the idea. There's a lot of resistance. Maybe understand some, but really, most of it really has to do with people's resistance to any sort of change. And that's not a good thing, folks. Okay? Don't be proud of it. Most change that we incur usually is an improvement. Not always, but usually. That, and of course, tremendous resistance, and media campaigns that don't look like media campaigns, look more like grassroots, from fossil fuel industry. Well, bottom line, long time ago, the caveman, he was walking around eating raw meat. Hard to chew. When a lightning storm hit a tree. Yes, and the tree burned. Oh boy. Fire. I call it fire. Oh, hot. Oh. So instead of putting his hand in, Ugg took the lamb chop he had in his hand, the piece of meat, and stuck it into the fire, and poked at it, and played around with it, and messed with it, and smelled like Texas barbecue. Much better, easier to chew. Yes, I invent beef brisket. Anyway, man discovered fire. Ugg brought the embers home to the cave. Showed it to the family, and wow, Ugg is now the local shaman, because why? He's got fire power. We start to learn how to burn everything on the planet. Okay, and we kept burning everything on the planet, and we're still burning everything on the planet. Here we are in the 21st century. I remember, a long time ago, man discovered fire. We're still there. We're 21st century cavemen, still burning everything on the darn planet. We have other ways to generate energy. Yes, there are other ways to generate energy, folks. But we're currently, my point of view, okay, at an evolutionary moment in human history. We are at the point where we can begin to transition from burning the entire planet to only burning part of the planet in order to develop the energy that we need, which of course, roasted squirrels over fire. But, we got computers, laptops, smartphones, electric cars, blah, 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 blah. We need a lot of power. But we've been burning the planet to the ground for a long, long, long time. we are now in a position where we're not required, for the most part, to have to burn the planet to the ground to survive. It's that simple, okay? And so we're at an evolutionary step, and there's going to be a lot of moneyed interests that try to oppose it. Wow. Weather may have something to do with the fact that we'll make a transition. I want to talk about the fact that, the tornadoes in the central U.S. and so on, it's the heat in the Atlantic Ocean, because you'll get more of that. Oh, it's just bad science, Chinese, blah, 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 blah. That's all it is. Because the numbers of tornadoes are like nothing I have ever seen in my life. All right. 100-degree plus water temperatures last summer in the Florida Keys. I ain't ever seen that in my history. I don't honestly care one way or another whether that is caused by the burning of fossil fuels or not. I am quite comfortable with the idea that CO2 buildup in the atmosphere is the main reason we're experiencing these weather problems. But it's irrelevant. We have actually come to the point in human history where we need to evolve. Instead of burning the planet to the ground for everything we want, we can now do things with a little less impact. Just that alone. That's an evolutionary step in human history. We will change the way we look at everything when we stop burning the planet to the ground. Yeah. It's true. Now, again, all the naysayers, oh, it's mining, oh, they use slave labor, oh, how do you recycle this stuff? There are solutions to everything, all right? And there are possible ways to do clean mining and so on. But in my mind, this is only a transition. This is not the inevitable goal. I mean, for years, every time somebody comes up with a 200-mile-per-gallon carburetor, or they come up with some sort of zero-point energy that operates off the quantum field, okay, it gets patented, and the U.S. military, under U.S. law, then says, oh, that's ours. It's top secret. And so we haven't actually ever seen any 200-mile-gallon carburetors come into full production in this country, nor have we ever seen any of this zero-point energy technology that will literally draw energy right out of space without burning anything. I don't know what problems would be created by zero-point energy. That's another story. But theoretically, it exists. We're surrounded by energy. All right. Anyway, this is the inevitable direction that everything really needs to go. It's a real good possibility that these craft that the U.S. Navy chase around out there, UFOs, USOs, whatever the heck, that they are utilizing an energy source where they're not burning coal in the... Okay. And it's probably zero-point energy, but I don't know. Anyway, as we advance, as we evolve as a species and we move forward, right now probably the only thing keeping us from having that sort of energy is people who want to maintain control and secrecy. I do believe it probably already exists, and it would be the solution, right? But I don't know, I tend to think there's some people on this planet that just love to make a profit and see others struggle. I don't know what the motivation always is here, but it's very possible, and that is the direction. And so, there's the guy on Y-Files. I don't know if you ever watched Y-Files. He had a show on that. And he did suggest something quite interesting. I approve. And that everybody who has a patent on zero-point energy or 200-mile-per-gallon carburetors, they all end up either it being made top secret by the U.S. Military, or the people themselves seem to mysteriously have sudden death syndromes. I don't know. But the guy on White House, his suggestion was if you're an inventor, don't patent it. If you come up with a zero-point energy device that actually functions, put it on the internet, let everybody have it, and put it out there so that they can't take it away from us. Okay? Yeah. I'd say that's a pretty good idea. I don't know whether this really exists or whether it can happen, but I see solar and wind and most of this green technology as only being a transition thing. But what it will do for us is get us in a situation where we begin to stop burning the planet and stop thinking we have to burn the planet like a caveman in order to survive here. That's foolish. I can see it's going to be a long time that we're going to be still torching coal. But we need to understand that that is not the inevitable solution and not the place that we want to be. And I imagine it's possible to dig and use coal without completely, polluting the planet. Although I'm not familiar with any coal mines that I've ever seen that leave anything in good situation. So mining, period, is not something I really like. All righty, folks. That's all I got to say on that. Yep. Solar, it's transition. Go with it. Go for it. Do not fight it. You're being duped and you're being utilized if you do not make the change. Because, at least in my case, it allowed me to be able to generate all the energy I need to run a house and a car by using the sun. My panels will burn out in 20 years. I won't be here anymore. So it's not going to matter too much to me. My kid will be the one to have to replace. And hopefully by that point, we will have some zero-point energy and we won't have to replace the panels. Yeah. A little shoebox-sized device stuck in over where my Tesla power wall's at right now, huh? Maybe. I don't know. It ain't happening right now. And so expecting it to happen right now is not rational. But burning the planet is not rational either. There's my viewpoint. It's a middle path. Okay? Solar, wind, it's a middle path. Hang loose. Aloha.